Hi, Maddie. Couldn't see anyone for a minute. I was thinking, is it Sunday? Hi, Cameron. Hi, Wayne. Well, I've just written a little note. Hi, Paul. To put on Patreon. I'll probably put it on after this, saying about what I'm doing. I'm still doing what I'm going to do. Oh, dear. You know, you never know, do you? In this life. And I bumped into someone this morning. For 20 minutes, we talked, kind of. And everything in that whole 20 minutes, apart from like one or two things, was all how awful the world is, how everything's going to shit, everything's going downhill. I don't know about you, but this is the same conversation that people were having in the 80s. And probably before then, depending on how old you are. And that never seems to change, and it's always going to shit, apparently. You know, the worst thing, the world's coming to an end, it's all going to hell, the fuel prices are just astronomical, we're not going to survive, everyone's going to fall to pieces. So I'm just sorting on my screen. Excuse me, 1 second. I think I've lived through like, I don't know, at least 5 or 6 apocalypses that were planned and predicted. And you know what? It's always been just here, and everything is fine just here. You know, occasionally in life you get like massive shits that hit massive fans. Sorry. And occasionally that happens to all of us now and again. But it's not every day, is it? And it's not even every week. It's not even every month. Well, maybe for some, but for most people, that's not the case. It's like occasionally, you know, you have a death or a split up, or your house burns down, or, you know, the big stuff sometimes happens. But generally, day to day, which is always here, it's always okay. It's always all right. Even if you've got to pay a massive bill, you either pay it or you don't, you know. But the world has never come to an end, because the world is really an idea. It's an idea that's proclaimed by media people. Well, people can proclaim it from the media, from governments, from all these things. And we don't even know if any of those things are really real. I mean, really, you know. So life is always just here now, and nothing's really happening here now except for your life, my life, which is whatever that is. So all this fear about everything, and everyone seems to be in so much fear. It's really, really incredible. I feel like I'm at the center of a kind of like headless chickens running around, going crazy. I mean, people are going crazy. That's all they talk about, is how it's all awful. It's all coming to an end. And I mean, do you remember when we were kids and we were all scared of the nuclear bombs, the Cold War, and then there was all the financial crashes, and there's all this. There's always something. But actually, in reality, for most people, and for everybody I know anyway, it's always just as it is, here, now. The world isn't ending. The world only ends when I end. That's when the world ends, or when I go to sleep at night. Apart from that, it never ends. It's always here. It's always this. It's always happening. It doesn't happen really outside of this. So the world doesn't actually really exist as an experience. It's just witnessed as information. The world is literally information. There's only just life here, and everything else is just information that we make into true stories. And the same as everything else to do with stories, one's life, one's future, one's past, and none of them really exist. They're just thoughts that happen. They're not actually real. They're not actually an experience here now. And the experience here now is well, it isn't really an experience. Experience is there's not really even experience, is there? There's just stuff that happens, and we call it experience. And there's nothing wrong with using that word. It describes something, that we can talk about. But in one's living experience, there isn't actually any real experience. You can say that you've become experienced in growing up and developing how to deal with things. That's experience, being an experienced driver or an experienced whatever. But there's no actual experience. Those happenings just come and go. There's no real experience that you can really pinpoint as something. You actually have to experience is always a story. It's never actually a moment by moment thing. The only moment by moment thing is just sitting here in this room or whatever else I'm doing. None of it is really an experience. We can just call it, but it isn't actually a living feeling or a living anything. Actually, you can't really talk about what this is. It really is nameless, and the sense of being, the sense of just being here, really is nameless. It's not something you can package up and tell people, which is relief in a way, and then not. Wouldn't it be good, if you had a magic pill? But then again, would it really? Would it really? I don't know if it would. Maybe some people think it might be a good thing, but my story is, well, it is what it is. It couldn't be any other way, and but it just is what it is. It's there's really no feelings about it. It just some stuff that seemed to have happened, but it's not an experience. We can make up a story of it, and maybe we experience those feelings if we keep dredging it up. But we're not experiencing those feelings. We're experiencing the feelings here, not this. We're not experiencing feelings of the past. Not really, because they don't exist there. They only get dredged up by being triggered or memory or storytelling or something like that. I don't know if I said this last week, but I can't remember. I read this fantastic quote, and I have to paraphrase it. And it goes something like, always discard truth in favor of freedom. I love that. I just think it's brilliant. It's probably not the exact words, but that's the paraphrase. Always discard truth in favor of freedom, because some apparent truths can make you feel very imprisoned. True freedom is to be, free of anything at all. And imprisonment is only really experienced in the head. Sure, your body might be in prison, but aren't we all in prison in a way, apparently on a planet, but I'm not even sure if that's true. I'm not sure about the nature of reality at all. At all. I'm either a round earther or a flat earther. I'm an either. I'm not really into either of those things. If there's anything closer, it would be some sort of holographic, sort of conscious made sort of realm, I guess. I don't know. I just really don't know. But freedom is really walking on fresh air. No, not even rubble to walk on. Literally, nothing. It's beautiful. It's free. It's fearless. It's does set people apart from the rest of, oh, isn't it awful mentality. It does set people apart, it's true. But I'd rather be apart than be complaining about the next thing and being in that paradigm, in that fear-based paradigm, because that's all it is. It's like the person who's talking to me today, their life's completely fine. They have a house, they have money, they have their health. There's nothing happening to them, but they're in absolute fear over something they heard on the radio. And they believed it. They believed what they heard on the radio. And I said to them, I said, why do you believe what you hear on the radio? And she said, oh, don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. Of course it's true. Like, is it though? Is it really? I can't find any truth in it. Not really. Of anything that I hear, there's inspiration that can happen from people, and there's some great speakers out there. And I don't mean in the non-duality realm. I'm not really interested in that. Oh, by the way, I have a new website address. I'm going to get rid of my old website. I'm just like freshening up. I'm cleaning the teeth of my talks. Of course, I talk to people about the same thing. There's only one thing I'm really interested in, and that is this crazy ass life. It's just stupendous. It's just miraculous. It's unthinkably strange, and yet is. So that won't change. So I already have a new email address. I'll keep the old one in case people get in touch with me through that one. But yeah. So that's has to happen. And after I've done, I think actually next week and the week after, I'm going to do 2 Skypes, Zooms, one after the other, rather than a Zoom and then a talk. I think the last one should be a Zoom where we just, some of us get together and, do that. That'd be nice, actually. Yeah, so after that, does anybody want to speak about anything? Talk about anything? I remember, I think it was last week, there was a couple saying, it was a bit sort of, not sad, but a bit like, but you know what? You guys are just like, you're all done anyway. You're all done, man. Not that it can be done, but it's just, I feel like you're out. Do you regularly sit silently? Not regularly. Naturally, I do. Yeah, I would say that happens. Yeah, I do. I don't sit down to meditate as such, but I will just sit there and just everything will just switch off. But I'm not sleeping. Yeah. My mind and body just naturally go into rest. Sleep mode, but without sleeping. Yeah, it's like a rest, really. I mean, thoughts may come up then, but they're not really anything. They're just, I don't give my thoughts much heed anyway. It's normally just garbage, most of it. I think my most enjoyable silent times are when I go and sit down somewhere or lie down somewhere and contemplate the nature of reality and not get anywhere with it, but I enjoy it. Not for any outcome or any gain, just because it's fascinating. And I think that, I think probably like most of you, that I've always been fascinated in that. That's why loads of us have been into Zen, non-duality, different religions and paths and all that sort of stuff, because it's fascinating. I mean, I was into it, you know, when I was in my 20s. I was more into it in my late 20s because I was suffering so much. I thought this fascination in the nature of reality would actually end my suffering. But before that, there was that innocent, sort of childlike wonder. What do you mean contemplate? Just think about it. Just think about it. Or not think about it. Let's see. It's hard to say. I don't know. I can't describe it. It's just. It's like a. No, 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 no. No, there's nothing wrong with thought, you know. There's nothing wrong with thought in itself. Um, the kind of cyclical thought about myself, that's problematic thought. It's not really thinking about it. It's not contemplating by thinking. It's more like being open to. It's not purposeful. I'm sure you guys must know. You know, you sit there and it's just this like, it's just being. It just is. It is. And it can be kind of sensed, but not sensed by the senses. It's hard to explain. Nothing you can really think about. It's just more like a kind of an openness, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a heavy thinker in that way. It's more like stillness, but without trying to be still. It's more like okay. I'm gonna explain a different way. Sometimes, not all the times, I really enjoy contemplating death. Right? It's a good one. It's a good one. And even that whole idea of just contemplating the end of everything as this living experience, just I don't know, just does something really extraordinary. It just blows everything out of the water. Anything that's personal or petty, not that there really is, but anything petty or anything, it just nothing becomes that important. Nothing really is that important. Not really. Importance has come and they go. There's nothing really that important. The only important thing for me in this place is enjoying my life. And I enjoy all kinds of things. I enjoy contemplating the end of it. I enjoy contemplating the beginning of it, the moment, the just being in that, That's a kind of a contemplation to me, in a way. I don't contemplate it like a mathematical equation. It's more like a sense. But I'm sure you must all know that. You probably do it. You probably do it yourself, you know. I think it's quite common. Unless someone's so wrapped up in the story of things. I'll just find myself like, you know, little children where they're about 3 and they're just going, what's that? What's that? What's that? It's a bit like that, just like, what's this? What is it? Wow, wow, wow. That's the contemplation, I mean, that kind of thing. Like, wow, hell. It's crazy. It's crazy. Beautiful. And it's not for everyone. It doesn't really matter in the end. It's just something that I enjoy doing. And that's probably why I do this. Because interestingly, when you speak about it, whether it's writing it or speaking to other people or just talking to yourself, you know, during the day, it's amazing how there can be a kind of a contemplation in that. It's interesting. It's like magic, a kind of magic. Like I'll contemplate things that people say to me. Like I had this lady, wonderful, wonderful lady, and she always felt wrong, you know. She hated being wrong and all that sort of thing. And I was contemplating afterwards, after we had that talk, I was sort of like sitting thinking about her. I was thinking, just be wrong. Just be wrong. It's quite good to be wrong. It's quite it's freeing to just be wrong. It's more freeing than being right. Yeah, I was wrong about this spiritual path, or I was wrong about this or that. And it's great being wrong. It's funny. And I hear little things around the place, you know. And I think I heard there was something. What was it? It was a show I was watching on my computer. I can't remember what it was. It was some sort of sci-fi fantasy thing, and someone was grieving, and they stopped feeling grief. And someone said, in a quippish way, they said, "Death without grief is just silly. Death's just silly." And then they just started laughing. Because it's so strange, isn't it? It's so strange. The whole thing is so strange. Living and dying and all that. It's so strange. It's the strangest thing. And yet we, you know, most people seem to think it's set in a paradigm, but it's not. It's not. It's so free here that every single person can have a different belief and all of them will be equally true. Because it's all what is. It's all life playing life. It's like a game. Once I started seeing it more like a game of life, everything became much more fun. Much more fun. Because what else is there? What else is there, you know? It doesn't matter what happens in the game. We can just see it as part of the game. It's genius. It's ingenious. This is an ingenious thing, whatever it is. this construct, this realm. Or if you're into Newtonian physics, this, you know, however many billion years old ball in space. Or your beliefs, you know, whatever they are. It's possible to have them. It's possible for them to be. It's possible for everything to be. And that just blows my mind. And I guess that goes back to that quote, discard truth in preference of, or whatever, of freedom. Because which one is truth? Which one? So if there's however billion people, if that's true, which I'm not sure about, if they all have a different truth, which one is truth? Barry says truth is of life is death. Barry says the truth of life is death, not to be attached as all dies. Yeah, you might as well enjoy your life because it's all going to go. And we all live like it's a shock, like that's a shocker. What do you mean I'm going to die? It's all going to go. And when you're in your deathbed, what are you going to worry about? You know, what such and such thought about me? How I wish I bought like a certain car. What is it going to be? What's it going to be? Who knows, right? One of the first so-called spiritual truths I ever heard was up in the Himalayas, and you know the story, I'm not going to retell it. When Lama Lumdub said to me, all is impermanent, all is impermanent. It took me years, absolutely years, to see that. As that young woman, 24 or 23, whoever old I was like, yeah, so what? What about me? What about my love life? What about this? What about that? Everything's impermanent. Yeah, so what? The significance of it was completely lost on me. And now it's the greatest of significances. Each moment dies without ever dying. That's wild as well, isn't it? Each moment is born without it being born and dying without it dying. The is of it is completely incomprehensible and ineffable in every single way. Everything is being born and dying without actually being born and dying. So when I die, I won't die. Because nothing is born and nothing dies, ever. The body might die. But nothing is born and nothing dies. It's amazing. So in that way, everything is perishable. Everything is perishable. It all goes, all of it, every moment, without it going. Because you can't see it going either. You can't see it going. You can't see it going past like a conveyor belt. Life's not like a conveyor belt. It doesn't work like that, does it? It's an ever evolving, but without it going anywhere. It's ever is, not actually moving along or dying. It's incredible. And that is everybody's living experience. Everybody. Unless someone can tell me different. And I'll be like, I've never had that conversation, but I'd like to have it. I'd be interested. But that fundament of just being here is the one thing that we all seem to share. So I hear, because I can't share you. I can't share you at all. I don't know. I just have an assumption that your experience, the isness that's there, is the same as it is here. It's nothing is being born and nothing is dying. It's like completely still and yet always changing. It's both simultaneously. They say that the only constant is change, but the other constant is, and both of them are there simultaneously. And it's no good listening to these words if you want to understand what I'm talking about, which you probably do. But it's just to look at it like, well, is that true for me? Is that true? Is it true? Am I watching life go on a conveyor belt, dying and being born like this? No, no. Not for me, it's not. It doesn't happen like that. It happens in a way that's just so inexplicable and can't be comprehended. It's magnificent. Magnificent. And I can never hold it or touch it or speak of it. It's just what is. It's just life happening or not happening, because there's that stillness as well, isn't there? That's that still point. That is. And then there's all the changing material around it, or in it, or it. Both are a constant, you could say. Because I don't remember a time when there wasn't constant. There's never been before. There's never been a before. Can you think of a before there was is? Has there ever been not is? Ever? Is this so timeless and eternal that we can't get hold of before we were so-called born or after we die? See, none of these things are really there. There's just this eternal is that has never not been. All the worries and concerns and truths all dance around on in this material existence, because all these truths and beliefs and everything are all just material existence in a way, not like solid like this, but they're made of the same stuff. It's all in the same realm, but there's this which is never not. It's never not. It's never not been. One could And I'm hesitant to do this. I can't help myself. One could go kind of a bit further than Barry. Sorry, Barry. A bit further than Barry. And say that there is no truth of life or death. Yes, everything dies, but does it die? Is it dying? Or is it just forever I don't know the word for it, manifesting and moving and changing, neither being born or dying? But in the same vein, one can't get attached to it because nothing is permanent. Nothing. When people get attached to their house, their cats, to be honest, I'm quite attached to my cat. I'd be upset if I lost him. But it'd be okay too. It'd be all right. Be all right. And you can't. I don't expect to hold on to any of this. None of it. None of it at all. This house, I can't expect to hang on to this or any of the stuff in it. It's just stuff anyway. In fact, I'm probably might even sell my house. Yeah, thinking of maybe doing something else. Yeah, I'm not good at sitting still. Not really. I've tried, but it's difficult. I thought I'd come here and buy a house and spend. I thought I'd come here and buy a house and spend like a long time here. Just peacefully here. But for some reason, I'm like, nah, kind of done. Yeah. Any ideas where you'd like to live? A few ideas, yeah. I'm thinking maybe the Isle of Man, where I'm originally from, but I haven't lived there since I was a teenager. I don't know. I'm kind of just see what happens. I'm just going to see what happens. I've got ideas, but I'm not fixed on them particularly. Kind of, but not. I have to see. It's been nice having you all to ourselves. Yeah. But everything has to end. What was it Maddie said? The truth of life is death. It's been nice, yeah. It's been nice. But I need a change. I think my daughter was about 2 years old. I think I heard you speak with him the other day. Probably, yeah, I'm in quite a lot of his talks. The young, more quieter, more nervous Lisa. Yeah. She was about 2 when I went to Leicester to see him for the first time. All the way up until his death. Yeah. Yeah. Long time. He helped me so tremendously in my more personal life, I think, in my personal life. Yeah. 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 So, well, my daughter's 28 now, so that'll tell you when I first went to see him. Yeah. In Leicester. Then he went to Holland. And then he stopped traveling. And I had to go to Australia. And then I ended up going twice a year, all the way up to when he died. And I remember his last session. He's like, he even said, "This is my last session. I'm going to be dead by the time the next one comes." Yeah, wild guy. I have a great deal of respect for that man. He used to drive me mad, but I have a great deal of respect and love for him. He always walked his talk, you know. He never bullshitted. I may have not agreed with everything he said, but he never bullshitted. He was always so honest from where he was speaking from. Yeah, rarity. And also, I respected him because he was willing to change the way he spoke. You know, over the years, he changed. Yeah, he's doing my head in. Yeah, good deal. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, it completely does your head in. I remember times I just hated him. I was like, I hate you. I hate you. But I don't. Not really anymore. Yeah, he can be. He can be triggering. Yeah, he can be triggering for people. Yeah. I don't really listen to him now. On occasion, I do. Makes me laugh, you know. He's so harsh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a kind of a respect, isn't it? It's like a kind of a respect, love. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, he was a very sweet man, you know. Totally fearless. So utterly fearless. I used to walk around, you know, everyone, you can see that everyone was just absolutely like, oh my God, like pretty much, it was terrifying because he was so fearless. Inspiring. Fearlessness is so freeing. It's so freeing to have no fear, you know? Because what are you going to fear? Something that might not happen in this, because nothing really, it just changes. It just changes all the time. There's nothing to fear, actually. There's nothing that can happen to what is. Nothing can touch it. It's just so free and so untouchable. Sure, things might happen to the body, maybe. Something's going to happen to the body at some point, but you know, there's no point worrying about it. And but to live fearlessly is just such a wonderful quality. Nothing can like sway you then. It's like you know how we're surrounded with the world and all, it's like everyone seems to be in the same story mode. And it always comes from fear, that kind of collective thinking. It's always fear-based. It's never joy-based. May have interest. It's never love-based or joy-based. Maybe a fake virtue love. But it's mainly fear-based, and when there's this sort of fearlessness, you just see that nothing is going anywhere, nothing is born, nothing dies, there's just nothing really happening, and yet it's all happening. Those fear-based stories just don't touch you anymore. They're just it's a joke, actually. Actually dripping. Oh god. Oh dear. Doesn't mean that people aren't irritating. You say, oh my god. But I don't mean that. Oh my god. But I don't mean that. It's just that living under a in a bomb shelter, you know. When many of us know, and there's, you know, we're all most of us here, I know, are mature, and we've all lived through the Cold War, and you know, all the rest of the like endless stuff. But you know what? Nothing's really happened, has it? Nothing's really happened. It's always just here. Nothing happens. Just my life happens. This character, this body, this personality, or whatever it is, has a life, and it's great. Mostly, it's great. You know, that's it. I do the things I do. I don't stick by any rules. I don't not do things because they just seem like, oh, they don't really fit into some kind of stupid paradigm. I just do what I want all the time. If I want to contemplate my navel, I will. If I want to read books on quantum chaos, I will. If I want to, whatever, you know, it's just like, it just doesn't matter anymore. I'm free to do whatever I want without having to pretend that I'm not doing it. You know, it's a beautiful freedom. I'm free to, you know, if someone's just like this guy that lives with my neighbor, and he's just I don't know, he's one of these people that just likes to put people down a bit. You know, you can see him doing it, and I'm free to suffer it. You know, there might be a time where I'll be like, oh, you know, I'll just disappear and maybe not see him again. Now I'm just like, blah, just say, you know, don't do that, don't do it, don't do it. It's not nice, stop it. You know, it's just free to not care about if people like me. That's a big one, right? It was a big one for me. But you know, it doesn't really exist. It's an idea of people liking me. It's an idea. It doesn't exist. It's not true. I tell you, social media has been the downfall of like, it's all about, oh my God, what an awful place social media is. Awful. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's if one doesn't do that, it's because we're scared of what people might think or say. And I can tell you what they're going to think. They're going to be thinking about themselves, what they should have said and what they should have done. Do they like me? I tell you. I tell you. And we all know that, right? Because life's wild, life's wild. And it's only not wild when we care about the world, the imaginary world, what people think, the imaginary news, the imaginary stories. I'm sure people just go along with the main stories in order to fit in, fitting in. Oh, God, help me from fitting in. God save me from fitting in. It's never, ever going to happen for me. Ever. It's never happened. It's never going to happen. And I don't want it to happen because, well, I wouldn't last long. And I'm sure most of us here wouldn't last long either. What does I don't know if Wayne's still here. What does Jason Brashears call people like us? Errants. Errants. I like that terminology. I'm not sure if he came up with it, but errant. Yeah, that's great. And to be errant, literally just be here. That is severely errant for most of the world. It's severely not in the program. Just to sit here and that's it. Yeah, errant. That's right. Yeah. It's a good term, isn't it? Errands. We've gone AWOL. We've all gone AWOL. And then it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what you do, what you think. Just play. Just play. Just enjoy the game of life. I can't believe that I've been doing Patreon now over 4 years. Something like that. Can you believe it? Really long. Time just goes like that. So you might as well just play and enjoy. Be an errant. Go AWOL. Be weird. Be wrong. Have fun being wrong. I've got this friend who I play a game with. We do this role-playing paper pencil game every Saturday night. And she gets very panicky about things which I would regard as very small and very petty and completely well, nothing I'd worry about. Anyway, when she writes to me, she says, "Oh my God, da, 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 da. I've got a picture I send her. Sometimes I send her different ones. It's just got a big button with fuck it on it. And I just send it to her on Discord, actually, because we're on Discord. And then she writes back going, yeah, yeah. I'll press the fucking button. Because nothing's that important. Nothing is important enough to get in a box and put a lid on and wait for it to be over. Nothing. And then put your boxes with everyone else's boxes. Make sure they're all colour coordinated with everyone else. Nothing's worth that. Life is so precious. That's all there is. That's all there is. Is this life right here, right now, sitting here on a chair. You know, earlier when you said about what about contemplation, what do you mean contemplation? Doing these talks is contemplation. Doing these talks is that, because I have no set thing I'm going to say. Is that because I have no set thing I'm going to say. I just meander through the unknown. And just it happened, you know, what is said is what is said. But it's a kind of contemplation, because it's not thinking, because I'm not thinking. I'm speaking before there's any possible space for thinking. There's no space for thinking. And it's just coming automatically on its own. And it's a kind of just a spontaneous contemplation. And that's all I've ever done. Because I'm just an explorer and a wanderer and an errant like everybody else here, who contemplates by speaking in this regard, and really enjoys it, and gets this real sense of expansion and not knowing, and yet is, and all these things that we can't really put into words and yet are. This is like a kind of a contemplation. It's not coming from a set agenda where I have a story to tell about, you know, there's a higher self and a lower self and a me and a no me, and all these agendas and all these ways of. So I don't have that agenda. There's nothing wrong with those agendas. You know, whatever floats your boat. You know, knock yourself out on agendas. Who cares? But for me, I'm not coming from an agenda. It's more of a spontaneous contemplation on the fact that I'm just here and that's it. And I don't know what that means, and yet I love it, and I love it so much. I want to share it, and it's so freeing, it's so beautiful, and you know, and if I can share that, and I can have the experience of doing this as well, you know, it goes both ways. Hopefully, I can help people think, fuck it, as well. I can live my life and free myself and all these things that are pinning me down, where I can just be free, just be. And there's also, I get something here as well, because I just love doing this. Will you keep the Patreon talks going? Yeah, I agree with these talks being contemplation. Yeah. No, it's all going to be on YouTube. And I'm just going to open it up to everybody. And I might just do like 1 minute videos here and there just on my own. I'm just going to open it up. I feel like I need a complete change from just doing every single Sunday, which has been great. But I just want to not have a set day. I don't want to have also then I because I haven't put myself out there with getting people to come onto Patreon. I'm the worst marketer ever. I don't do social media, so that's out. I don't do any email alerts. I actually don't do anything to promote my talks. So, and for a while I've been seeing like, am I going to do anything to promote my talks? The answer is not really, no, because I don't like doing that. I prefer being spontaneous. Even though it's set on a Sunday, it's still spontaneous in a way. I don't like marketing. I don't like doing it. It's not enjoyable for me. I don't really like doing things that aren't enjoyable if I don't have to. So, yeah, so I just need to have a change. So I'm going to have a new website address. Yeah, I agree with these talks in contemplation. Yeah, that's all it is. You know, it's all it is. It's all it is. And yet is completely sublime. And saying sublime, you know how we use the word sublime a lot? My new website is going to be called, and what do you think? Life in the Sublime. What do you think? I just love the word sublime. And I actually made a little art gallery thing on YouTube of my work and called it Life in the Sublime. It's the Life in the Sublime collection that I did. Oh, good point. No, I'm not going to delete them. They're all unlisted. They're all on YouTube. They're all on YouTube, but only you guys can see them. What to do? I don't know what to do. What do you think I should do? I mean, there's a lot of talks, right? I mean, there's quite a lot which I've deleted. I just put the intro in and put them up. I might go through some of them and might make them public, but only if there's nothing really personal in there for other people. Because this is between us, that I want to honor your privacy. That's why I don't put the Zoom talks on YouTube, because there's the privacy involved there. I'll see. I mean, if you want to bookmark all the talks, you can just go, it's a lot of talks, but you can just go through the list and just make a playlist of all the Patreon talks, because you won't see them on YouTube, but you'll see them on Patreon. So you could go through and make a playlist of them on YouTube, then you can still see them. If you want to, of course. Yeah, I'm not going to delete them. They're already on YouTube. So I'll see. But I think after Zoom next week and Zoom week after, 2 Zooms, then I'm going to have a holiday. Something I never do, ever. Yeah. And then I'm going to come back with still doing the same contemplation, but just doing it differently. Yeah. And not on a Sunday, unless I do it on a Sunday, which could happen. I'll do probably 1 a week, same as 1 a week, and yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go now, unless anybody wants anything else to say or ask or anything like that. You know what I could do? Oh, there's too many. All the unlisted videos, I could put them in one post on public on Patreon. I could do that. Put them on public. Yeah, I'll see. I'll think about it. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for coming. And yeah, Zoom next week. I hope that a few of you can come. And then the week after that is to be the last one in this way. So everything dies, right? Okay, lots of love, guys, and have a good week. Bye.